Hello and welcome back. Excuse me, I'm Sachlin, and we're going to talk about round three of the candidates today. Round three finished today. Really interesting stuff. And then we're going to talk about the predictions for tomorrow. Again, as I've done always, I'm going to just talk about some important points, key points. I'm not going to go deep into the games. If you want to look at that, Hikaru does his own stream for his rounds. Gotham Chess has uh, his thing that he does for the recap. Chessbase India does their own recaps. We have a bunch of well educated and important resources that you can go back on chess. My strength is not uh, to the point where I can talk about certain stuff, but I will talk about like important points apart from the depth of the game, and then certain like points of inflection where things changed, how people have looked, felt, and all that stuff, and then we'll go on from there. So important. So with Andrea Sipenko and Matthias Blumbaum, it was a draw. I think. Hold on. Let me see if we can do this really quick. Okay. We started with the d4, d5, and just regular chess, and again, nothing new coming out from them. So a very like docile game altogether. Anyway, so that happened. Hold on. Let's do this. Combining both. Javokir and Prug again. This was interesting because Prug started. Prug had a surprise started with this, and it was a very wild line. I think this one is worth taking a look at. So no matter where you are, how you like what's your rating range, this is still worth taking a look at. It was a very interesting line where basically black gives up a piece for a pawn, but white's king is stranded in the middle, and then they play on from there, and it's a very tight rope that white had to walk, which he missed once, and he played this queen c3 line, which he for some reason missed the very obvious e5 push, and then it became really difficult to play on from there. Wei Fabiano Caruana was actually a really quick affair, and he missed this knight d1 move uh, after he played rook c5, and I think that just caused and it was a 19 move game, so it ended really really quickly between Fabiano Caruana and Wei. So Fabiano has two wins and a draw. Javokir has two wins and a draw, so they're at both two and a half each. Hikaru Nakamura and Ishigiri was a draw, and again as we can see here, a very drawish position. I was expecting Vaishal Ganesh Babu and Anna Muzichuk to give a decisive result, but that ended in a draw. Deodeshmuk, Alexandra Guryachkina, I was again thinking Alexandra Guryachkina might win here. And she was winning until like quite a bit later, and then she missed. So we'll probably quickly go through it. And there's this one major miss here. So here, this she played. They played King H7 and King F7 was played. Although the Indian said just Rook A7. After the king moves, you now move the king back. And what's happening here is that after you take push, uh, this is now a draw since the both the pawns are almost on the same distance from queen, and it ended with King Rook versus King Rook. Anyway, so Gurechkina had chances and actually failed to convert. She was able to. Zujiner, although so Zujiner came up with beautiful opening ideas for all the three games she had. So she has definitely spent some time preparing, and we see them. She's getting her surprises on the board, and she's being able to put this make it difficult for their opponent or posing problems, which is really nice. Although this is also the third game that she's kind of thrown away. The first two games she was winning, she left like, or she was clearly plus, and then she missed by like a whisker. This one she was better, and then she just missed the win, I think, and then she played something wrong. Again, I'm not gonna go too deep into it, but as we can see here, she was up by at least 1.5 or something after move 18, and then I think she made this mistake, which allowed activity, and now it's difficult. I think at some point she had to play this, allowing this push, and the point is now you play rook f3, and the point is now this is covered. So basically, if you take, I go here, uh, and then I think then you get this, and that was probably that they were taking a look at. Anyhow, so that was missed by Zujina, and this last game was topsy turvy to the T. Like where Tanjongi was winning, and then she missed something, so Katrina Lagno was winning, and then Katrina Lagno missed something, and Tanjongi was winning again, and then I hope they have done some sort of a computer analysis, and you see that yeah, so here Tanjongi has like a little advantage, like a little over one, and then Katrina Lagno had the advantage for a little while, like winning advantage with -3, and then Tan Jungi had an advantage of plus 4.6, and then she made mistakes, and then Katanagna had an advantage. So this was a very topsy turvy game, and I think I've already posed this as an opinion that Tan Jungi makes mistakes in long drawn out and very like tactical tough games, and but it's also something that induces mistakes from the opponent because the opponent is also missing some, seeing some, and this her games can be really topsy turvy, and I think she'll produce more decisive results than others, either winning or losing. And this, I think, I predicted Katrin Lagno to win yesterday. But very interesting again. So after 8 draws yesterday, people came out fighting today, and we saw one, two, three, four decisive results and 4 draws. So let's go to the next one. It's tomorrow, and then I think we'll probably have a break. So it says in 11 hours, and then it's in 2 days. So we'll have a round tomorrow, and then no round the day after. So we might skip. I might also bring all the games together and figure out, like, if I want to put stuff. What do I want to say there? If I want to recap certain important games. Anyway, uh, yeah. So Andrei Stepenko is playing Anish Giri tomorrow, and I'm expecting Anish to come up with some prep here. Yesipenko today seemed really in his like nice uh, on Anish, no, Yesipenko looked very sharp in his Yesipenko style. He was playing fast, he was playing accurately, which is nice. And similarly, we saw Anish playing fast and accurately, and not like slowing down things, spending time. So that was nice, and he felt his confident self. Tomorrow, I think there is chances that Anish Giri might play. I think I give Black really important chances tomorrow. Okay, and then Wei versus Hikaru Nakamura. Wei hasn't again shown any major opening ideas as of yet, and it's still going to be an interesting question if Wei is going to pose problems to Hikaru tomorrow. So I think Hikaru, if he's feeling ambitious, he might try to go for a win. Again, Wei seems is like one of the lost the game today really quickly, so he might just pick a very drawish line, and there's nothing Hikaru can do if it's a very drawish line. But Hikaru might still try to find certain ideas and play. I'm expecting a draw here. Anish Giri, Yesipenko. Interesting. I expect Anish Giri to try and push a little bit. Javakir Sindar or Fabiano Caruana is going to be very interesting. Like Javakir has shown that he's playing d4, so so Fabiano Caruana might come up with certain interesting opening ideas that he might have again made or practiced or set up or found in the training camps. But Javakir, I think, has been an e4 player. So if you switch to d4, does Fabi expect him to play c4, or will he go d4 and he'll be like, I'll stick to my d4 and I want to see what you can come up with. Again, Fabi has played one game with Black and he's played really solidly, so that we've seen, and again, it's yet to be seen. I mean, we'll see tomorrow how this is going to work. It's going to be very interesting. Pragnanda Matthias Blumum is also going to be interesting again, because Pragnanda has come up with 3 new fresh ideas for the 3 games that he has played, just like Chujina. Although today he lost, but he had the line, and I mean so did Jawakir though. So it's very interesting. So they both have like had some preparation, obviously, and they're showing it in certain lines, which is very interesting. And I mean, so has Fabiano. Fabiano has definitely done a lot of work. So here I think again, so black tomorrow seems like the pieces to have, and looks like we might see some stuff. Although between Javakir and Fabiano, I don't think they're both the leaders. They'll try to hold the lead unless Javakir finds a way, and then he's going to push. So expect a draw here, expect a draw here, maybe an wins here, and then Pragnanda Blue Bomb. I think Pragnanda is like a little hard, obviously, after the loss today. So he might push a little harder tomorrow, but again, if Blue Bomb is just looking for a draw, it's going to be a draw. So I expect to see a more but again you want to push, so this is also the last day before the next like break, so you might also want to push and play a long game so that you know that you can rest anyway for another full day. So I am expecting here to see fireworks in actually all the boards tomorrow, but Anish and Pragnanda I'm going to predict are going to win tomorrow. Between Anna Muzichuk and Katrina Lagano, again very interesting like setup. I don't know. It's very difficult. I think I'll come back to this one later. Bibisara Subaya Tanjongi is interesting. I think here Bibisara probably has little chances. She also won her game today against Zuzina, and although she looked like in a little problem, but she was never in huge problems. So had issues, but yeah. So feels like if she has some surprising element, maybe it makes it complex enough for Tanjangi. She might get a chance. So I might think Bibisara has another chance tomorrow before going in. She would like to like stretch it out as much as possible again, like play a long game, reduce it to kings if it has to come to that, because you have a rest day tomorrow, like day after. Divya Deshmukh Zujiner is going to be interesting again because Divya probably has some prep. Again, I've not looked at her games too deeply, but Zujiner has definitely shown that she has one interesting idea at least for each of the openings that their opponents played. So Divya has played C4 in quite the lot, quite the games that she has played from White. So Zujiner might have some ideas again in the English, and we'll see what's come to. What will be there again? You cannot just be prepared for one opening move because these are again grandmasters who spanned multiple countries, multiple tournaments. They're well versed with everything. We might see a D4 from Divya tomorrow. We can never tell. Alexandra Gurechkina and Vaishali Ramesh Babu is again a very tough pairing. So here I am expecting. Okay, so Tanjongi and Bibisara I think will give Bibisara the win. Divya and Zujina, difficult to say. But I'll say it's going to be a draw. It's going to be a long, drawn draw. Uh, Maybe, yeah. Let's look at Vaishali Ramesh Babu and Alexandra Gurechkina, and that one is also interesting. Again, excuse me, a very difficult one to predict for, similar to Anna Muzic Katrina Lagna, but I think Anna Katrina is going to be a draw. Uh, but that's probably also like the first chance she gets. Anna probably gets to push real well because she's again she had like a 10-day notice to join this tournament, and she probably like, and I think this one still again is very drawish more than like someone winning, but I'm expecting okay. Let's say I'm expecting a draw here. The point being that during the first break, she might get in with her seconds and whatever, and then like push a little harder to find novelties to the next round. So she might just be like, you know what, I'm gonna get a draw quick, and then I'll have a day and a half. Instead of having one day, I'll have a day and a half to prepare for the next 3-4 rounds. This is much better than like having pushing for the full and then going for like half an extra point and then not having enough time to prepare. Maybe, but if she's winning, she'll probably try to play it. But if it's like a very like drawish position, I think she'll choose to repeat than to play further. Vaishali Ramesh Babu, Alexandra Gurechkina, difficult, but I think might pose a decisive result. Vaishali has played a little iffy, Gurechkina really strong, so might be Gurechkina. Again, I'm giving some chances to black tomorrow. So let's go with the predictions again. I think here Anish Giri and then 2 draws. And then Pragnanda, Kachin Lagno, and Amuzchuk likely a draw. Tanjangi, Bibisara wins. That's the only white I'm expecting to win tomorrow. Zuzina David Deshmukh draw, and then Alexander Gorechkina vs Alramish Babu. Maybe Alexander Gorechkina wins tomorrow. So those are the predictions. Let's quickly look at. Do we have the players? That's not what I actually wanted. I don't know if they have standings. Oh, they have standings. Beautiful. Oh, it's a different. Okay, hold on. Can I try and do this? Oh, it's okay. It's right there. All right, let's try. Okay. Okay, that's the best we can do. All right, beautiful. So we have these standings. We have two players at 2.5 points, two players 1.5 points, and four players at 1 point. And this is out of three. So these players have obviously lost 1 point, one game each, and then these players have like at least won a game and lost a game. And Matthias Lobo has had a very solid three draws. So again, there's a 1.5 point difference between the top and the bottom, and it's still 1.5 points, not a big deal. A lot of rounds yet to go, so there are 8 people, so one person plays 7 people, so 14 rounds, 3 have been played, 11 still rounds to go. There's a lot of time left for each of them, like to make a comeback. No one's out of this right now, but it's going to be very interesting. Fabiano and Joaquin obviously will try to run away with it. So if tomorrow one of them wins, they are in a very strong lead. So if Fabiano or Joaquin gets to win one of their games, like win any of them, like they're playing each other. So if one of them wins, it's going to be really difficult for like people in this group to catch them unless they win, and then they'll be again in 1.5 point distance. Okay, let's look at women. So there are 2 women at 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 at 1.5, and then 2 at 1. With Tan Zhang and Zhu losing today, really tough losses again. I think for Zhu definitely when she had the upper hand, and Tan Zhang had the win like a couple of times that she let go. So yeah, little tough again for the Chinese contingent. Indians going at 1.5, and then the FIDE representatives at 1.5 and 2, so doing really strong. And then we have a Kazakh and an Ukrainian with 2 and 1.5. So very tight field right now. Very interesting, and I'm just hoping that we keep seeing the fighting chess that we're seeing like much more like from like we obviously see much more fighting chess from the women, I think, and the opening preparation is also like fantastic. So very interesting boards to watch throughout, and that probably also brings the end. This is the table with only a point difference between the first and the last, so not a lot again, and no one's like mathematically out at this point, and it's just 1 point, and things can change when you play each other, so it's not going to be that big of a deal sooner or later anyway. So with only 2 games with decisive results and a lot of draws, women are fighting really closely. It's very interesting. Here though, we've seen much more decisive games than and then some easier ones like Fabi and Wei today. Anyway, that marks the end of this stream today. I'll be back with the recap and the predictions for day 5. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye bye.